So with our folds, we're going to continue to kind of move through that knee. I'm going to bring both hands to each side of that knee, and I want to push into the floor and try to square my shoulder. So I have even pressure through both hands, and both shoulders are square to the floor. And I want to try to keep my sternum through the arrow of the knee. We're going to take a nice inhale into that back hip. As we exhale, we're lifting that hip and scooping. Again, I want to get that active scoop in the back hip. And then both hands are going to lightly slide forward as we try to keep our sternum moving through that knee. Inhale, we're coming right back up into that back hip bowl. Exhale, that hip lifts, moves forward, scoops, and then we continue to slide forward into our reach. Notice how smooth does this movement feel as you go into that scoop and into that fold. And then as you're reaching, where do you feel it? Do you feel it more in the front of this back hip? Do you feel it more in the back of this front hip? Do you feel it in your low back? Maybe you even feel it some in the shoulders. Does one hand want to slide further than the other hand? Is it hard to keep that sternum in line with the knee? Does that sternum want to kind of roll away from it because your body just doesn't want to sit upright on this very well? We're going to switch and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So again, bringing that knee, hands are coming equal distance to that knee, pushing into the floor, finding that nice square position. And right off the bat, this is a good assessment point for me. I got low back. I can feel it tight as I turn into it, and I feel that left hip a lot more on this side than I did on the other side. So we're inhaling again into that back hip bowl. Exhale as we let it lift, reach forward and actively scoop. And then continuing to exhale as we try to move that sternum through the knee. This side is just simply a lot more challenging for me. This left hip feels tighter, more restricted, specifically in that front space. And as I get into my reach in my rotation, I feel that, oh man, it just opens that left hip up a whole lot. And I feel it a little bit in the right side, low back. But as I do these movements throughout the day, this generally gets a lot better. Yesterday this was really sensitive early in the morning. But I kind of spent a good amount of time yesterday working on it. By late afternoon, early evening, I barely noticed it. Obviously, it's still there. It's still an issue. But I'm going to make the assumption that if I'm able to get significant relief from it because I'm able to get it to move better, that means I'm putting less stress on the hip compared to if I did not do those movements. If I didn't maintain this practice, all this congestion in this hip would get worse and worse, and I would probably be looking at a hip replacement a lot sooner. Now we're going to start going back and forth to our folds. And I'm less concerned about reaching through the arrow of the knee and getting so perfectly square. Now we can just kind of do a general explore. We can reach forward through the shin. You can reach through the knee. You can even explore a little bit beyond the knee. But whatever we do on one side, we're going to do a nice little windshield wiper transition to the other side to do the same thing. Nice exhale as we fold. Inhale as we come back up. Exhale as we start our transition to the other side. Inhale as we finish our transition. Exhale into our next fold. And we're keeping it nice and slow as we go side to side. By going side to side, we can really get a good comparison of how it feels on the left hip compared to the right hip, or really the left side compared to the right side. And we're going to do a good number of reps here. This can be 10 up to 20 reps. Once we get a good 5 reps in, we're going to start to change the angle of our shin box. So as we get to one that's our starting side, we're going to let that back leg slide open just a little bit. And then getting into that nice, slow, comfortable fold. When we come back up, we can slide the knee back in, go to the other side. And whatever position we did with the other side, we want to find that same position on this side so that we can continue to compare. And all these, everything on this, when I go to my right side, I feel it a lot more in this left hip. And with each one, we're going to continue to slide that leg open a little bit more if we can. We're just playing and exploring with different positions of the hips in the shin box, and we're slowly kind of moving it towards what we would consider that yoga class pigeon pose. Right, when I get into these more open positions, it really puts a lot more stretch into that left hip in different angles that really seem to help mobilize it a lot more. And for our last few, we're seeing how much can we reach that leg back without forcing it. I don't want to go to pinch or pain, but we're seeing how much can we get out of that, reaching through that leg, getting into our fold. And how does that feel moving from the left side to the right side? Side's a little bit tighter. Tighter in my right glute, as well as that same area front of that left hip. So the interesting thing here with the folds is it's not just this inner thigh, it's also the outer thigh on the opposite side. So I don't feel it as much in the right hip, but I do feel it a lot in this left one. But the two are related to each other. And so it's working in this right hip that helps with the left hip. It's working with the left hip that helps with the right.